Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your custom harness from your 10 to 12 non-HID to 13, 14 HID headlights. As you can see, we kind of got the car going undergoing some body work here right now, but we have the factory 10 to 12 headlights, which we're going to be replacing. We're going to the 13, 14 bumper and rear bumper, so we got to have the matching headlights. We already have the matching taillights. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make your custom harness. It's actually a whole lot easier than anyone would have thought it would have been, which if you know anything about basic wiring, which I don't, you probably would have automated the harness, which it's pretty easy. So there's going to be a few basic things you're going to need. I'm going to link them down to the description. So the first thing you're going to need is this Morimoto harness. So you're basically going to be getting the non-HID to HID, because technically from 10 to 12, Ford did offer an HID headlight that looked very similar, but the only thing that was different was the DRL bars. So with the 13, 14s, we're going to be actually doing the DRL bars, which make the car look a whole lot better, which actually adds a little bit extra wiring, because obviously the 10 to 12 cars do not come with factory power to a DRL bar because there was none there. So I'm going to be showing you how to make your harness. It's actually super crazy easy. So we're going to pop over to the other side of the basement. I'm going to show you what's going on over here. Alrighty guys, so what we have going on right here is the harness that is already made. Of course, I already have the harness completely made just to make sure that there was no complete trial and error here. So I'm going to be showing you the basic steps to go and have it. So I do actually have this form linked in the description. So thankfully to this gentleman right here, he actually went back into this problem back in 2015. So thankfully he's actually solved this problem for us. So I actually have a quick little key here right here. So this is going to be the HID side, and this is going to be the non-HID side. So I actually already have the wires completely split. So whenever you do get the Morimoto harness, that's going to look like this. You're going to actually have a different harness right about here. So I actually just took off the clip that's right here. Just put you a flathead screwdriver in here, pull it out. You're not going to hurt the pins because they're actually in up here. So take you another flathead screwdriver right here. You're actually going to pull this whole entire clip out. This whole entire white little membrane area here is going to come out, completely pull out, and it's going to give you access to the pins, and they're actually going to be on these tiny little metal pins. So you can either just crimp them down here at the back, or you can just go ahead and pull them forward and cut them with a set of wire cutters, which is exactly what I did. So moving on, you can see that if you're lucky enough to actually have a factory wiring harness with the actual colors, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So this is what the 16 pin harness looks like, which I just bought an eBay generic, which was a lot cheaper than a Ford harness. So this is all the extra pins that you're going to need. And this is what the Morimoto harness is going to come with at the end. It's going to be this 4-pin harness. So you're actually going from a 4-pin all the way to 16. But if you notice, not all 16 pins are actually being used. Just route the pins over here that's not being used if you buy actually the harness that has all the pins. So like I said, if you actually have the harness with the colors, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So I'm going to link this down here to the bottom, but basically I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown here. So pin number 1, this light pink, as you can see I have right here. So light purple to light purple is actually number 1 is going to go to number 1. So this pin up here at the top, this one right here, that's considered number 1 if it's looking completely at you like this, right? This pin is number 1. So this one is actually going to run to the harness, which is going to be number 1, which is going to be to the far left, right over here to the side. Then we can go over to the yellow purple, which we can see, which is not this one because this one's yellow red. This one's yellow purple right here. So yellow purple we know is going to be from 1, 2, 3, 4 over from the bottom. So if we go over here to the bottom, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually have it wired over number 4 on the original harness over here. So all you have to do is cut them, splice them. You can either connect them together, T-tap them, however you want to connect them. So we know so far that this pin right here, number 1, is going to run to this pin right here. And we know that this pin down here is going to run to this pin over here. So moving on, we can see that the only pin that we have yet left before we go to the black pin is yellow and red. So we can see exactly right here. So we're gonna move over to pin number 10, which I have right here, yellow/red. It's actually gonna go to number 3. So we can see, looking back at the OEM harness, this pin right here is the yellow number 3. Alright, this pin number 3 down here, and we're gonna connect it in to this one over here that is yellow-red, which is actually also known as number 10. So it is gonna be the second one over. So you just wanna connect them, splice them, and then move on. So the last pins that we're gonna have left are gonna be these ones, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So these 3 right here are gonna be your ground pins. So the only pin you're gonna have left on this harness is number 2, the second pin. So moving on to over here, you're gonna take this pin, and this pin, also known as number 14, 3, and 8. You're all gonna put it to the second pin over here. So you're gonna have 3 pins running off this main harness into one, because these are gonna be your grounds. And then this ground is gonna be a separate right here. So you wanna make sure you get a good ground on this. Make sure it's an actual good ground and you're not just putting it on something very minor. So the last pin we're gonna be left with is pin number 5. So this is where things get just a little bit different. So you need to get an external, just 18 gauge wire. And then what you need to do is take pin number 5, have it run off to the side, and then you need to tap an external wire in, and you need to run it and tap it into both sides. So I have this wire running on both sides to the pin number 5, and this is the other side. And then this, you need to actually get a fuse jumper, and then you need to wire it to fuse 39. So that is going to be the easiest way to do it, just because from the 10 to 12 cars, the only way you're going to get on-key ignition for the DRLs is going to be fuse 39. And of course, there's other ways to do it as well, but this is going to be the easiest way. So I bought a fuse jumper. So I gave it a little bit extra wire here, so that way whenever the time does come, whenever the car does get out a little body work, that way I can actually run, crimp it, and then use the pin. So starting from the top, we got the Morimoto harness coming all the way over. We got the pins going into it. Like I said, here's a quick little cheat sheet here. This is going to be your HID side. So like I said, 10 is going to go to number 3. 1 is going to go to 1. 12 is going to go to 4. And then on this big harness right here, you're going to have 14, 3, and 8 all going to the secondary pin, which is actually going to be your ground pin here. And then, like I said, your last one is going to be number 5. So number 5 is the one that's going to be run to the external wire. Make sure you connect them on both sides here. So I have them all connected here. And then you're going to connect this to either however you want to, your battery, but just know that it's going to be running at all times. So I'm going to connect mine to number fuse 39, so that way I know every single time I turn on my key, those DRLs will turn on. There is actually a few other things that you need to do, and it really just depends on however you want to wire up your setup. So you actually still have your turn signals down here at the bottom that you need to take care of. So it really just depends on how you want to do this. So down here at the bottom, you can see you're going to have the actual body harness that you're going to need to mess with, which is kind of a little on the fortune side, but you know, if you're going to be doing this conversion, you're probably going to be sticking with it forever. So you need to take the body harness, and you're going to actually have a 3-pin, which is going to be a brown pin, and then you need to convert it to a 3-pin, which is a lot smaller like this. So what you actually need to do is how you need to plan. I'll actually have the wiring diagram at the top. If you want to run it completely like factory, you need to switch 2 pins to make sure it's running. Now, if you want to use your, as this guy says right here, I did not wire the purple so that way the turn signals only turn on when you're using your turn signals. So it really just depends on however you want to wire it. So this is how I'm personally going to wire mine. It's completely up to you guys. So this is a harness down here at the bottom. Unfortunately, I was not able to find one on eBay. That was just my luck. Maybe you guys can find one on there. So I did have to buy a Ford Motorcraft one, which was crazy expensive. So maybe you guys can find one as well. So overall, this harness is actually crazy easy to make. A little on the pricey side just because this harness right here is at least going to be $100. you're probably going to be in at least 20-40 bucks on both these connectors right here. Then you also have to buy these connectors right here. So however much you want to buy them, I think I paid maybe like 50 bucks for maybe both of them, which they were Motorcraft originals. And then also you got to buy the wiring, maybe just like $5. So you're in a good little bit. So it's a really easy install, guys. So it really just depends on however you guys want to wire it on the last little bit here. So that's pretty much going to be the end of it, guys. It's a really super straightforward install. I have no wiring I have no wiring knowledge ever in my entire existence of doing anything wiring, and that's pretty easy. That's my first time doing anything wiring wise. So that's pretty much going to end off the video here, but do you want me to go a little bit more in detail on how I actually created a harness and how I'm actually going to end up wiring it onto the Mustang when it's said and done? It's still about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks out. I'm still trying to find some switchbacks for the headlights, which Diode Dynamics did unfortunately quit making those. So I can't find Diode Dynamics, so I'm gonna probably end up going with an aftermarket company, which are all aftermarket, but Diode Dynamics is a little bit more known, so probably gonna end up going. If you guys have any recommendations for a 1314 DRL switchback board, which I would greatly appreciate it, because I'm trying to find one that I don't have to rebuy all of the RGB drivers for, because I've already bought the Diode Dynamic RGB drivers, which I didn't realize that it was unfortunately just RGB and not a switchback function as well, which is completely my bad. So like I said, that's where I'm going to end the video at for today, guys. So hopefully the next time you guys see the Mustang, you'll see it a little bit more, where the side skirts will be off, front bumper will be off, the hood will be off, probably the trunk will most likely be off. We're just getting this car ready to go to paint, guys, right now, so we just want to make sure it's completely set, so whenever we do send it, it's going to be good and to go. And